Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 10 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 10 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter vector. So we're going to start with the chapter vectors. The lessons we're going to cover today are compass directions and vectors. Find the magnitude of a vector. Find the component form of a vector. Find the component form of a vector given its magnitude and direction angle. So let's just start with the lesson. Here I'm on grade 10 math. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is compass directions and vectors. Use compass direction to describe the vector to describe the direction of a vector. Some the Of all the directions, the vector is closest to pointing due east. However, it is actually pointing 31 degree north of that. So the vector is 31 degree north of east. Okay, so use compass directions to describe the direction of the vector. So the vector is pointing due north, right? And it is pointing 28 degrees east of that. The vector is 28 degree east of north. Let's just start with the test questions. Use compass directions to describe the direction of the vector. The closest point the vector is pointing to east, and that is due south. So that is 40 degrees south of east. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 40 degrees south of east. Use compass direction to describe the direction of the factors of the vector. So the correct option is that is 16 degree north of west. The correct option is 16 degree north of west. Use compass directions to describe the direction of the vector. That is 39 degrees west of north. Option 2 is the correct option. Use compass directions to describe the direction of the vector. That is 40 degrees north of west. 40 degrees north of west. Option 1 is the correct option. That is 28 degrees north of east. Option number 1 is the correct option. 28 degrees north of east. Sorry, east of north. 28 degrees east of north. That is 20 degrees west of south. Option number 1 is the correct option. The correct option is 20 degrees west of south. Use the compass direction to describe the direction of the vector. That is 31 degrees north of east. Option number 2 is the correct option. Use compass direction to describe the direction of the vector. That is 34 degrees south of east. Option number 1 is the correct option. Use compass directions to describe the direction of the vector. That is 40 degrees south of east. Option number 2 is the correct option. that is 37 degrees south of east. Okay, we are done with the lesson. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is magnitude of a vector. Find the magnitude of the vector. Write your answer in simplified form. So the initial point of the graph is that is the initial point that is at the 0 0, and the terminal point that is the one with the arrow. Terminal point is at 0 and negative 9. X is 0, y is negative 9. Since the coordinates of the initial point 0 0 and terminal point 0 negative 9 are the same, vector is vertical. So the magnitude of the absolute value of difference of y coordinates is 9. Let's just start with the test questions. Let's see how do we find the magnitude of the vector. Okay, find the magnitude of the vector. That is the initial point that is at the 0 0 and that is at the 0 and negative 10. So the magnitude of the vector is, if you just subtract their y coordinates, negative 10, 0 is negative 10. So option number 2 is the correct option. That is negative 10. The magnitude of the vector is negative 10. Mm. You have to calculate the absolute value. Sorry, the magnitudes are not negative. You have to calculate the absolute value. So that is 10. Option number 1 is the correct option. Magnitude of a vector is right. Okay, find the magnitude of the, write your answer in simplified form. So here is the initial point of the vector, that is 0 0, and then here you have 0 and 9. That is 9. The correct option is option number 1. 9 it is. Find the magnitude of the vector, write it in simplified form. So which is the magnitude of the vector? The correct option is 7. The magnitude of the vector is 7. Option number 2 is the correct option. The magnitude of the vector, write your answer in simplified form. So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Find the magnitude of the vector. That is 10. Option number 1 is the correct option. How find the magnitude of the vector, write your answer in simplified form. That is 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. No, the magnitudes are always the positive values. You have to calculate the absolute value. See the uh, mm, initial point is at 0, 0. The terminal point it has 0, -5. You have to subtract the y coordinates and you have to calculate the absolute values. The correct option is 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. Let's just start with the test questions. Let's just move on to next lesson. You can complete the lesson by your own later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. Okay, the next one is find the component form of a vector. So now we're going to learn how do we write the vector in the component form. So the initial form point of the vector is at 0, 0, and the terminal point is at -1 and 9. You can see here the point is at -1 and -1 on x-axis and 9 on y-axis, -1 on 9. So the horizontal change is you need to find the subtract the x coordinates, that is -1, and then subtract the y coordinates, that is -1 and 9. Let's just start with the test questions. Write the vector in component form. So the first thing is you need to calculate the initial point, that is 0, 0, and calculate the second point, that is x is 7 and y is. So just look, subtract components. 7 minus 0 is 7. Subtract their x components, that is 0. So together they make 7 and 0. So option number 2 is the correct option. 7 and 0 is the correct option. Very good. Write the vector in component form. So which is the correct option? So just the initials of the vector are at 0, 0, and the y coordinate is at 4 and 3. You need to calculate, sorry, 5 and 3. You need to calculate the components of the vector. So just subtract the x coordinates, that is 5 minus 0, that is 5, then 3 minus 0, that is 3. So together they make group 0, 0, 2, 5, no, 5 and 3, 10 and 3. The next one is 5 and 3. Write the vector in component form. So which is the correct option? Find the component. So which is the correct option? That is negative 2 and negative 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. No, negative 3 and negative 8, not negative 2 and 8. That is negative 3 and negative 8. Write the vector in component form. So which is the correct option? That is negative 7 and 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write the vector in component form. So which is the correct option? That is 8 and negative 5. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is find the component form of a vector given its magnitude and direction angles. Okay, the magnitude of a vector is 17 and the direction angle is 53 degrees. Find the components of a vector. So how do we find the components of a vector? We have to do a cos theta. A is the magnitude and theta is the angle. A cos theta and A sin theta. A is 17. You have to do 17 cos 13 and 17 sin 53. So that is 10.23 and 13.58. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. So you have to do A cos theta and B cos theta. So that is A is 17. That's the one we just, I think that is 17 cos 63 degrees. 17 cos 63 and 17 sin 63. So let me just use the calculator and see which is the correct option. That is cos 63 times 17. That is 7.712. Option number. That is 7.12. Sorry. And now sine 63. Sorry. Sine 63, that is 0.8910 times 17, that is 15.15. So option number 2 is the correct option. That is 15 point. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, the next one is option number 1. It is that is 15.15. Option number 1 it is. Sorry, I selected the wrong option. So be very careful about the decimals, right? The magnitude of a vector B is 29 and its direction angle is theta is 83 degrees. Write the component form of B. So you have to do 29 cos 83 and 29 sin 83. So let me just do the calculations. That is cos 83 0.1218 times 29, that is 3.53, and then sine 83 times 29, that is 28.78. So option number 1 is the correct option. That is 3.53 and 28.78. The magnitude of a vector V is 9 and its direction angle theta is 38 degrees. Write the component form of vector V. So you have to do 9 cos 838 degrees. So cos 38 degrees is 0.7880 times 9, that is 7.09. And then sine 38 times 9 is 0.554. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? Okay, so we were working on grade 10 math. The chapter we are working on is vectors. The lessons we have covered today are compass directions and vectors. Find the magnitude of a vector. Find the component form of a vector. Find the component form of a vector given its magnitude and direction angles. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can send in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions. Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.